Hello, everyone. Brady, Charlie, Garrett. Charlie and I are here from my living room. I'll probably flick that light off in a second. Well, then the light will be crap. So, Charlie, you can just have a nice glowing light above your head. That fine?
Works for me.
There you go. It's good.
So,
All right.
Boston Red Sox defeated the Kansas City Royals, right?
Yeah. So, Boston, as a Boston fan, still rooting for all the sports teams, it's nice to finally have something to cheer for. I've been feeling like Cleveland lately. It's been a matter of like 6 months since the Red Sox won. It's a tough world out here.
I mean, this is true.
People don't know that I'm actually not a jerk, so I probably shouldn't make this. This might be people's first time tuning in. They're like, "Wow, here we go, cocky Patriots fan." No, it's I take everything. I'm grateful for all the success Boston sports have had because when I was growing up, all the Boston sports teams sucked. So the last time anyone was good was when Larry Bird was around in the 80s. So that was my life growing up, and then all of a sudden, all the sports teams got good, and I'm grateful for it. So Tom Brady hinted at retirement, I think, in the post-game interview. So that'll be a sad day. But Gronk came back. It was nice. But anyway, we're still holding out for that Patriots-Packers Super Bowl.
Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady. It's going to happen eventually, right?
I think Tom Brady's done after this year or maybe next. But Matt LaFleur leading into the promised land.
That's the move.
All right. So let's get started with some stuff. We'll throw it right to you, Garrett. What was your first-class segment of the week? What did you really enjoy?
So we had I've been picking Smackdown matches for probably months at this point, just because they're so good consistently. And I took Andrade and Almas versus Rey Mysterio, which just this match was so well put together. You could tell that when these guys got into the locker room that day, or however many, whenever they did this on Monday maybe or whatever, that they were sitting down and they were like excited to work with each other. Because these are two guys that at one point could have worked with each other on the indie scene while Rey was in Mexico. So, I mean, it's like they obviously didn't, and then he ended up in NXT, so their paths never crossed until now. And it was really interesting to see them put together a really, really. There was at one point it was going to be a hurricane run off the ring apron, and it was caught and then sit out powerbomb by Almas, which just looked like it absolutely killed Rey. I mean, which I'm sure it did, because that didn't look like it was. It looked like a little bit of a Chucky brother, But
they almost botched that too, which was crazy. It was almost a botch, but they were able to save it just out of pure athleticism, which was cool.
Yeah, because Rey about turned into a senton.
And also, Garrett, have you got any extra tabs open or anything? You're getting very laggy as you're moving back and forth. So I don't know, maybe X out of stuff or whatever. But I thought Almas versus Rey was so good. Like the storytelling, and what I think is so impressive about it is that a lot of people are begging for this to be the WrestleMania match. Just had the program run all the way through. Usually people don't do that. A feud start before the Royal Rumble and then go all the way through WrestleMania. Usually people aren't begging for that, but they are. And the fact that Rey and Andrade, no longer Andrade Cien Almas, just Andrade. The fact that
worst.
I know the fact that Andrade and Mysterio were just Rey. The fact that Andrade and Rey were comfortable just throwing this match on a random Smackdown means that they know that they have more special things in their back pocket, which is insane. They know they can put on a better match, basically.
Definitely felt like a big pay-per-view match on a Smackdown, which is awesome.
Yeah, this could have been if this was for like a cruiserweight title or something at the pay-per-view, everyone would be down. So, Charlie, what'd you like?
Finn Balor winning, getting the Universal title shot. This was the right call. The Strowman and Brock Lesnar stuff no one was excited for it, not a single person. And they knew it was the right call to go with the babyface they've been building up. So, yeah, I mean, whether the title changes or not at this point, I mean, it's at least nice to be excited about the title match going into the pay-per-view.
Yeah. I mean, that match was just so good. So we had some real bangers for matches. And mine's going to be a match too when we talk about it. But it's nice to see that Balor's been getting this push. And even though it seems like WWE is going to go with Lesnar, into Mania as the champion, it's nice to see that they're listening to the fans enough, which they said they were going to where they're giving Balor that push. I thought it was a little obvious that he was going to win based on like giving him the extra match against Corbin and stuff like that. But I mean, do either of you guys think he's got a shot against Lesnar? You think it's possible they throw the belt on him?
I think there's always a chance with Vince McMahon and wrestling. You never know.
Gary, you think he's got a shot?
I think there's a small possibility. The rumor is that Brock handpicked Finn to be his opponent at the Royal Rumble, which says a lot about what he thinks about Finn. Nick suggested maybe he's going to put his work boots on, as I think it was Edge and Christian described it this week. Yeah. I mean, maybe there's like Brady, like Charlie said. Apologies. There's always a small chance because it's up to the minute, So.
Yeah, I mean, it also shows that Brock Lesnar is smart to the business. A lot of people kind of see him as like this big hulking idiot, but if he really does have free reign to pick who his opponents are, the fact that he's picking Finn Balor, he knows that he should be the heel going into it, and that's kind of, it shows that he's a little connected to everything else, which he knows he's connected the way he plays UFC and WWE against each other all the time.
Right.
And
the rumor is also, I don't mean to interrupt. Conversely, the other rumor is that Braun was taken out of this match because they didn't want him to take a loss. So, that's a little wrench in the argument. But it was just, I thought it was worth pointing out.
Yeah. And then, so my best segment of the week was another match. I mean, you can probably guess. There were 3 matches that were head and shoulders above everything else. The Intercontinental title match between Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Bobby Lashley. Going into this, I usually don't find myself rooting for wrestlers all that much anymore. But I was really rooting for Bobby Lashley. He's been doing such good work, and since he's had Lio Rush with him, it really makes things seem fresh. And I just think that Rollins and Dean, neither of them need the title. And Lashley doesn't really need it either, but he needs it more than the other two. And I thought putting the Intercontinental title on Bobby Lashley was great. I don't know which direction they're going to go with this, leading from the Rumble into Mania. Maybe they'll have some sort of feud come out of the Rumble. But whichever way they go, I'm cool with it because I actually have faith that Bobby Lashley can put on some good matches.
Yeah, absolutely. The problem, though, is I think if he can't put on some good matches, if they put him against, I don't know, somebody green like Apollo or something like that. Not that Apollo is green, but in terms of big match, potential, we've not seen him in a big title match yet on a pay-per-view. So if they make that mistake, then it could really ruin any chance that Lashley has for this reign to be good.
And Pito Saseka says who won the Royal Rumble. So if we're talking last year was Shinsuke Nakamura, but we haven't had the Royal Rumble yet. You can go ahead and look up betting odds and stuff. We actually talked about that on our episode last week. So if you want to check out the podcast from last week, you're more than welcome to. Some interesting names in there. So yeah. Let's before we talk about our segments, we thought just we're not up to snuff. Charlie has a little bit of a fresh meat. So let's talk about some of the new entries coming into WWE.
Yeah, it's contract season. We had NXT TakeOver UK Blackpool, their first NXT TakeOver. And we got 3 signings to NXT UK. Kaylee Ray and Jazzy Gabbert, which are 2 women's wrestlers. And from what I saw, it looks like Kaylee Ray is a pretty big prospect, and they're all pretty interested in her. And they also got Ilja Dragonov, who was most known for his stuff in WXW. So that's cool for them. And it looks like NXT got Trevor Lee. So four people announced this week. And since it's contract season, ROH has said, they're not completely dead. They're not dead yet with AEW coming. So what do? They go out and sign Roosh and Dragon Lee, 2 of the bigger names. And then AEW signs 21-year-old prodigy Jungle Boy. So if you've ever seen him, he's like 5'6", 110 pounds is what it looks like.
It's somebody's son, right?
Yes. Yeah, it is. I don't know. I don't know the name. Nick
Sorry.
something. It's like some Hollywood person.
That's right. It's famous. Yeah.
Had his first match at PWG and signed an AEW right away. PWG is going to be the thing that catalyst every talent to every single company.
Yeah, PWG's in a great spot right now. It's like how we were talking about New Japan being in a great spot because all the other major companies, WWE, Ring of Honor, and AEW now, and Impact, they all want to work with New Japan talent. And so PWG and New Japan are going to thrive in this new competitive landscape. So let's talk about some stuff that we didn't necessarily like. I'll start this time. Basically, I did not like how WWE is treating, talking about fresh meat, the recent call-ups, particularly EC3, Lacey Evans, and Heavy Machinery. I was like Otis Dozovich, but so first, EC3 and Lacey Evans were shown on TV this week, WWE TV. EC3 was on both shows. Lacey Evans was just on.
She had a segment in there in one of the women's matches where she was backstage. They just cut to her awkwardly, and then Michael Cole was like, "It's Lacey Evans."
I know, it's so weird, and like I don't know, because that officially counts as their debuts, and the fact that WWE continues calling people up with no real plan for them, even though EC3 has been main roster ready for years. Even when he wasn't in WWE, he's been WWE caliber for a long time, main roster WWE caliber for a long time. And the fact that WWE just has him standing off in the background is really strange to me. And then Otis Dozovich walks out during the Alexa Bliss segment, A Moment of Bliss, while she's introducing the women's tag titles. And he literally like walks over and he says like, "Oh, pretty girl." And then he gives a very, I hate to say it, he gives like a very rapey vibe. And like literally it's just very creepy coming off fresh from the Alexa Bliss.
Literal map for a segment where she was like walked in on partially nude by a runner.
That's what it's so weird. Like it's just so weird. It's obvious that maybe Vince McMahon, he's like, you know what, I need some excitement in my life. I don't know what the internet is, so I can't look up the prawn. So I'm gonna have Alexa Bliss pretend to be topless. And so that's the way it feels. And if Heavy Machinery are coming in as really big rapists, if that is their gimmick, I'm not down.
No.
Like that's the way it's stupid. I don't like the way they're handling these people. You should have thrown EC3 out there in a promo against Elias and let him go toe to toe is what you should have done. But no, they won't. Garrett, what did you not like?
So sticking with the destruction of the women's revolution, piece by piece by Vince McMahon, we had a segment right after my bet segment this week, which completely killed all of the hype that was built from that. In my opinion, my best segment of the week, the Andrade Rey match, should have been the main event of SmackDown, but it wasn't, and it was followed by a really awkward segment where I'm still not even sure if it was Jay or Jimmy, because honestly, they could have pulled us through, and that could be what this is going to mean next week. But as far as we know, it was Jimmy, and he went to the hotel room that he was given the key to of earlier in the night by
Mandy Rose.
Mandy Rose. I was blanking on her name for a second. This is how little this segment meant to me. And Mandy Rose is in lingerie waiting for Jimmy to arrive, and then somehow, I'm guessing through breaking and entering, Naomi was there, and then there was an attack.
This whole thing was stupid. I mean, Jimmy Uso says, "You know what? I might go cheat on my wife." Number one, the fact that Mandy Rose leaves him a key and he's like, "I don't know what I'm going to do." And sure, you can make the excuse, I don't know a camera's there, right? So maybe the fact that he's like, "I don't know what I'm going to do," that right there is a means for divorce, right? And then he says, "Hey, WWE cameraman, I'm going to go cheat on my wife. Come along to the hotel with me." Brings the cameraman to the hotel where you've already got a cameraman there. So then Mandy Rose says, "Oh, I need proof of this. And even though there's a WWE camera in my hotel room, I'm going to hire some creepy guy to jump out of a closet with a still camera and take pictures of Jimmy Uso almost kissing me." This whole thing was stupid. And then what I was hoping was that I really was hoping that they'd get in there and stuff would go down. And then all of a sudden the Jimmy Uso, the Uso would be like, "Psych, it's Jay." Thanks for the good time. Peace.
That would have been like a straight Attitude Era 90s segment on Raw. That literally would have happened.
It would have been great.
This was 20 years ago.
So I have a theory on why they ran that segment. So USA has been promoting the show called Temptation Island.
Oh, no.
Literally, this. Yep.
At 10 p.m., that Temptation Island officially started, and the segment was like, we'll probably never like hear from it again.
Well, this is going to end up being Bobby Lashley's sisters.
I forgot about that. Oh my god!
So
Big Cass
or the old. You remember the other segment they completely dropped? The Old Day. Remember during the New Day?
The Old Day. They don't talk about that. And Charlie just talked about when Big Cass attacked himself. They don't talk. We don't talk about that either. This is going to be one of those things. They're going to, you know what? USA said, hey, we need you to run an adultery angle. That way we can get this,
that's what it feels like. 100%.
It really does. It really does. So anyway, so Charlie, what'd you not like?
My worst is the worst of the worst. All right.
Oh, God.
This resulted in the Revival requesting their release. It was so bad.
Yeah.
So
hold on. There is no report out there saying that they have officially asked for their release.
No, there is now.
Is there?
They in ring gear. They asked.
Melton talked about it.
Yeah,
Melton talked about it in the newsletter, and then he said, yeah.
So, long story short, the Raw Tag Division is a disaster, right? So what do they do this week? They use it as a cutaway segment, and you have a bunch of geeks standing at the door outside Vince McMahon asking for a title match at the Universal at the Royal Rumble. Like, oh my god, it's just the idea. The match, I thought it was fine. But the idea behind it, that their tag division is so low that it resulted in their best team, literally, on Raw, asking for the release. It's just funny. It's mind, but hopefully it changes this week.
It was comical, and that's interesting because it ends up Revival. It gets released that Revival wants to be released, and then Sasha Banks tweets a gif at them saying, "Take me with you." And if Sasha Banks goes there to AEW, like Revival is already a game changer. They might be the best tag team in the world, especially when paired with the Young Bucks. They can just fight forever. But if Sasha Banks were to go with the other female talent they've signed, that's going to be a big, big, big deal.
Yeah, she's been training with Amazing Red, so
Amazing Red.
Anything's possible.
I introduced
her. Imagine though, just for a minute, that segment back. Could you imagine if Vince walked out and gave Kurt Hawkins the title shot? How much hype there would be, because he would have to win at that point.
They should do I'm telling you, man, the next pay-per-view, they should bring back what was it called? Cyber Sunday? They should bring back Cyber Sunday for a month. Let people vote via text message.
What do you think? Who would challenge who would challenge Lashley?
Well, they always give people four options. So right now, if you had to say, okay, Lashley's a heel, who are the mid-card faces? Seth Rollins,
Elias.
Dude,
I feel like they'd throw EC3 in there.
See, that's what happened on
and maybe Apollo, because they're pushing him recently.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There's the 4.
Yep. So that's what they would do, and people would vote for all the cool people, and it would be a great pay-per-view. That's what happened before.
If they did that ever, we would have to do a live show with voting live, all three of us voting live.
Yeah, that would be really, really cool.
Bring back Cyber Sunday in 2019.
Yeah,
we're looking at you.
Cyber Sunday. Please. All right. So then, geez, did we already wrap up? I mean, is there anything else that Garrett that really caught your eye this week as far as WWE or maybe outside of WWE that you're excited for?
Oh, outside of WWE, yeah. Okay. Hold on. So first, inside WWE, Mike and Maria Kanellis also asked for their releases supposedly. Which I have expected to be coming for a lot longer than it has. Supposedly 2 weeks ago is when Mike asked for his. Supposedly, though, according to Maria, she was never part of that, but the original report was it was them both. I don't know where that actually falls. The truth is probably somewhere in there. Maybe Mike wants to go to AEW or back to TNA or something. Or Impact, sorry.
I think the truth at this point is it was just Mike.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyway, whatever that shakes out to be, it could end up... by the way, anyway, we should note, far as anyone's concerned right now, no one's getting released because Vince is not letting talent just walk out the door right now.
WWE
looming.
Yeah, WWE wants all of the talent. Charlie and I were talking about this today. NXT is the most stacked it's ever been, to the point where I think they had this recent amount of call-ups just so that they could get some bodies out of there. Like, it's not even just top heavy. The mid card right now between Ricochet and Johnny Gargano, the fact that that's for the mid title is insane. So WWE just wants all of the talent right now, and you see it trickling down. AEW and Ring of Honor are also trying to sign all of the talent they possibly can. So we're coming to a new era where no longer are guys going to be like just indie guys. I mean, really, there's only a couple people out there that just floating and they like to just float. I mean, Pentagon is one that comes to mind. He likes to just float around. But other than a few people, contracts are the new way for these companies to really go. They don't like their talent going to other companies unless they have an agreement, like a Ring of Honor to New Japan deal. So it's the way to do it.
Speaking on that, when they just announced Matt Riddle's signing in November, right?
Yeah,
and that was the big one.
Yes.
When they bring them in with like an entire class for the Performance Center. Within 2 months, they called up Humberto Carrillo he had 2 matches on NXT, and they put him on 205 Live because I think we're going to see 205 Live's roster jump. It's 15 right now. I think by the end of 2019, it'll probably be about 25.
Yeah,
they'll have tag titles, and I think it's going to get to 25, but they'll also have people move on at the same time. Like I don't see Buddy Murphy being on 205 Live at the end of 2019, or someone like Cedric.
No.
So I think they're going to bring in more people for that brand too, which is going to clear out NXT even more, which kind of goes with what you were just saying.
Sign all the talent. I mean, NXT theoretically should be a place where people stay no longer than like 2 years. So, but
they let you ride strong.
And between all the shows they have, between Raw, SmackDown, NXT UK is, kind of with NXT.
They're slowly putting more Performance Center people over there now.
205 Live, and then them adding things like the women's tag titles. So they're going to need to sign a lot more women's talent to fill out the main roster. I think WWE just needs more bodies. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with signing all this talent.
And I think they have a lot of room to let go of some of the debt. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Oh, certainly. And then outside of WWE this week, something that I noticed that was really interesting was the report that came out that the reason why, what was it, Rush? What was the other guy's name?
So with AEW? Rush, it's Roosh and Dragon Lee, the cousins, or the brothers are cousins.
Okay, Roosh. So those two guys were both told by Andrade this week not to sign with WWE for whatever reason. And that suggests that the name change and everything that's been happening with Andrade, while he's been getting more of a push, he feels like he probably go. I don't disagree. He was shelved for so long. So I don't blame him if he's telling his friends not to come.
I mean, I don't even think that it's the fact that Andrade thinks that WWE is a bad company. I think it's the fact of you look at someone like Cody Rhodes, like Pac, people like that they're super talented and they're at the top of the indie scene as soon as they leave. You still get lost in the shuffle because we forget how talented WWE really is, how much talent they have. Someone like Chris Hero, who is a legend, comes into NXT and he's just another guy. There's so many people that are just another guy. I mean, Undisputed Era is the coolest thing going in NXT right now. On the main roster, you never know. They might sink, they might swim. And it's weird because anywhere else in the world, Undisputed Era, those 4 guys together, if they were to go to another company, they would be at the top of any other company in the world right now. So that's the issue when you have all this talent. But anyway, that'll do. And we didn't want to go crazy long this week. Good to see my Pats back in the Super Bowl against the not Saints. Would have been good. I mean, it would have been good to see, settle the great debate. who's the true GOAT, the greatest of all time, Drew Brees or Tom Brady, right?
Drew Brees doesn't crack the top 10.
I'd put him in the top 10.
You think?
Tom Brady, Joe Montana,
Oh, God.
Peyton Manning. I think that's a clear 1, 2, 3 at this point.
Nah.
I think it's
Joe
a clear.
Flacco.
It's a 1, 2, 3. Oh, you're gonna put Eli Manning? Eli Manning beat Tom Brady twice.
Exactly,
Why
so
isn't
he's
he
better.
number 1?
Bart Starr.
Get out of here!
Josh Freeman.
Oh my God!
Bernie Kosar.
Legitimately, we'll have this discussion really quick. I'm saying Brady, Montana, Manning, and then you start talking about, do you go more physically gifted, or are you one of the Roger Staubach guys? Are you one of the
John Elway.
John Elway, physically gifted? Do you go with Dan Marino? He had all the stats, right? So maybe there's John Elway, Dan Marino. We'll say we'll round out the top 5 with those 2 guys. Terry Bradshaw won 4 Super Bowls. Do you put him in top 10?
You could.
Okay, so there's 6. After that, Aaron Rodgers, maybe.
How many losing seasons did Terry Bradshaw?
Probably a lot. So Aaron
Yeah,
Rodgers.
definitely Aaron
And-
Rodgers' spot because he slogged his team through the playoffs for like 20 years.
Yep. Oh, Brett Favre, you got to put in there somewhere. Brett Favre, and then you throw in your Bart Stars, and Colin Kaepernick, and then I think Breeze is right there. So
He probably will get in the top 10 when it's all said and done. I mean, the guy's had some of the most insane stats you could really imagine.
yeah.
I mean, it's going to make the Hall of Fame.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, and the good news is maybe Gronk can actually beat Gronk in the Super Bowl this year. I don't think he's ever been allowed to be his full potential in a Super Bowl ever. He's always hurt. There's something wrong with him. But this year they've barely been using him, so maybe he's fresh. He looked good today. So anyway, make sure to like and subscribe. Click that little bell so you know when we go live. Ding! And till next time, guys, we're out.